talking to one particular journalist from the Washington Post about it, and you know, you associate with, most people read the Post think they're kind of left, Democrat leaning, and they are. But they've got a coterie of folks on the editorial page that go both ways, and they've got some conservatives there. This particular gent that was there was one of those. And he was asking me from the military perspective what I thought about Syria, and the next comment was, why aren't we doing more? And it begs right to the topic that we're here for today, diplomacy. There's a lot of folks who would just as soon go in there and say, let the military handle it. It's an easy thing to say because the Defense Department is well funded and they are can-do people. They don't want to admit they can't do a job, and quite frankly, they do a lot of planning and they're good at it. But really, it ought to be the last choice every time. A lot of other people more important than me, Brent Scowcroft, Tony Zinni, also signed it, and it addressed the pros and cons of the military option in Iran. The military option has been the hot topic thanks to our friend in Israel, Mr. Netanyahu, who is really, I think, pushing hard on the administration, obviously, to draw the red line. And the question is, where is the red line? And I think it's sad that he's playing election year politics, not just here in the United States, but he's playing in Israel as well. And he's pandering to his public, and it's getting involved in the campaign. And I think it would be particularly sad if the United States got drawn into something because of the politics and not because of the realities of the situation. If you read that report we put out a week and a half ago, you see there's a lot of cons to it. And it's not an easy thing to do. It's very, very complicated. We need to let diplomacy work here. You really need to let it work. And some say, well, it's not working. You really don't know whether it's working or not. You'll know if we end up doing an attack. And Gary, you mentioned how much knowledge we have in there. There's pretty good intel on what's going on in Iran in terms of when their production, when they're going to ramp up the highly enriched uranium from 20% to 90%. When they do that, that's coming close to the red line. But there's a lot more timelines beyond that before they get a weapon, and then they get a weapon that they can put on a missile, and then they get a missile that they can shoot somewhere. So this again, the military option is not quick solution to what's going on in Iran. My personal opinion is we're not funding the State Department where it ought to be funded. USAID needs to be funded. And when you look at what's going to happen in the next month or next 3 months with sequestration and the budget talks, they're going to start cutting. And it's easy to cut state, it's easy to cut USAID. Huge mistake.